arriving.
All right, good evening. We'll call the meeting to order. I'm Ben Wenningrad. I'd like to call the meeting to order for members. This is the general meeting of the members of the West Hartford Center Special Services District. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Winograd. Councilor Blanks, absent. Mayor Cantor, having technical difficulties. Councilor Cortez, absent. Councilor Fay.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Councilor McGinnis.
Here.
Councilor Bowen.
Here.
Commissioner Spivak. Councilor Walters.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Winograd.
Here.
Councilors.
Here.
Commissioner Suffian. That's it, Deputy Mayor.
All right, thank you. Second item on our agenda is public forum. Is there any owner of property within the Special Services District who wishes to address the Special Services District members? Sir, please come out.
Do I speak?
Over there, please, and please identify yourself for the record.
Yes, Edward Bassanese, 85 Memorial Road, West Hartford. And I'm here on behalf of the residents of the Heritage. And since we have moved in, since the beginning of the Heritage, of course, we've been paying twice yearly into the SSD as special line items on our property tax bill. Mine is most recently $808 twice per year, which we've been paying pretty much since we moved in 2008. I seem to recall, but I'm not sure, that when we moved in, they said that we would have some possibility, because of paying this $800 twice a year, to have our occasional visitors be able to park in the garage that we're paying on a no-charge basis. I can't confirm that, I don't have it in writing, but I seem to recall that, but it is not materialized. I would like to ask the board if they can let us know how we can initiate a discussion of permitting some free parking for the Heritage residents that are paying $800 twice a year for occasional visitors in the parking garage that we've been subsidizing. So that would be my first request to how could we get that discussed and considered. I don't need an answer tonight, but would appreciate some response from the town as to whether we may receive some consideration for our, in my case, $1,600 a year for the garage. The second item on behalf of the residents is that occasionally, maybe once a year, we like to do a power wash of our garage. We've typically parked cars in the area that is now blocked off for Delamar parking. We do recall that when Delamar was being proposed, they said that those cars would be parking in the town hall lot and would not impact our lot. Of course, now they are all parking in the Memorial Garage lot, which normally is not an issue, except that when we need the spaces for our cars while we're power washing or something else, to be able to park in those Delamar reserved spaces. So again, I don't need an answer tonight, although we would like to do the power washing at some point soon, and would appreciate the board's assistance in addressing these two issues.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ledwith, do you have any comments on the procedure going forward?
I do. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. So on both of those issues, I did, when we received your email, Ed, last week, I did have a chance to talk with our Director of Public Works to get a little bit of history on what may have transpired back when we built the garages and had the, created the SSD. And at that time, there was no, he doesn't recall a discussion about, potentially offering free spots to folks who live in the Heritage, but it's something that we will take a look at this point, since you formally asked. And we will be prepared to discuss this further at our next SSD meeting in March to address that one. And then in terms of regarding the Delamar parking on the bottom floor of the garage, we've had some conversations, quite a few conversations with Charter Realty and Karen Johnson, who's with us this evening as well. And that is something else we are taking a look at as well, in terms of, where should they park? Where, they were in the parking lot, to your point. We moved them into Memorial Garage. It's been a couple of years now, at least. So, is there a better place to park the Delamar hotel? People are staying at the hotel, and we're going to take a look at that as well, whether it's Isham, whether it's, a hybrid between Isham Memorial and potentially the town hall lot as well. So we'll take a look at both those issues. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for coming out and speaking. We have our next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. Mr. Ledwith.
So there's one more public. Oh, sure. I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Thank you. On approval of minutes, Mr. Ledwith, do you have a comment to make on that?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. This item should be withdrawn as it requests approval of minutes from a board meeting. This is the annual meeting of the members, so I'm withdrawing this agenda item and requesting that the agenda be amended to include approval of the meeting minutes from the general meeting of the members on January 3rd, 2023.
Without objection, thank you. I move that the minutes of the general meeting of the members on January 3rd, 2023 be added to the agenda. Is there any objection? There being no objection, the agenda is amended. Without objection, I move that the minutes of the general meeting of the members on January 3, 2023 be approved. Is there any objection? There being no objection, the meeting minutes are approved. We have no receipt of petitions, no consideration of consent calendar, no receipt of communications, no unfinished business, new business, or a consent calendar. For staff reports, we have a report from District and Town Manager Rick Ledwith. Mr. Ledwith, do you have a report?
I do. I have a brief one, Deputy Mayor. Thank you. Just wanted to update the members of the board, commissioners, that we, talking about the garages, that we have issued an RFP, a request for a proposal, and we ended up hiring Desmond and Associates. So that's taken place already. And the purpose of that RFP was to hire a engineering firm to, the garages, as folks know, are coming up on 20 years old, built in 2006. So we hired Desmond to come in and to essentially assess both parking structures. So looking at the mechanical structure, looking at the engineering, looking at the material of the garage, looking at the electrical, HVAC, all components of the garage. And they have a draft report that actually was presented to us today, January 2nd. So what we would like to do is take some time with that report and incorporate some of those findings into our capital improvement plan process for the upcoming budget process. And we would share the results of that study with our Public Works Facilities and Sustainability Commission at an upcoming meeting once we have that draft finalized. But we would incorporate some of the long-term fixes that we need to amend or adjust with both parking structures. So we know some things that will need to be addressed. At a minimum would be the escalators. Both are, they both have a 20-year lifespan. Those would both need to be replaced. But at our first review of the draft today, there are several items that will need to be addressed within the next couple of years to address the long-term sustainability of both garages. So that information will be forthcoming. Just wanted to update both our board members and commission on that process.
Thank you. Does any member have any questions for the town manager? You can dress up there.
When will the draft be available for review by Special Services District members?
So through you, Deputy Mayor, we would look to give us a couple of weeks with this draft and get back and go back and forth to Desmond, and then we'd get it out to you shortly.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor, just before you go on, a point of clarification. I think there were a few town council members that were going to abstain from the approval of the meeting minutes since they were not present at the last annual meeting. I noticed the call for the vote was for approval, but there wasn't a call for a no or an abstention. So if the chair would be willing to canvass the individual town council members as to how they voted on the approval of the meeting minutes for the record. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to state their not voting on that particular motion?
I abstain.
I also abstain.
Thank you. So we have 2 councilors abstaining on the vote, and the record should reflect that. Mr. Clerk, is that recorded?
So noted, Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you very much. We have, thank you for that. We have no executive session, as I understand it tonight. So without objection, I move that the meeting be adjourned. Is there any objection? There being no objection, the meeting is adjourned.